Hi everybody, welcome back to Matt's Plants. So first thing is I've got a couple of brand new orchids that I'm very excited about. So both are from Speciotic Plants on eBay, as are quite a number of my orchids. They're a really great seller, I can heartily recommend them. So the first one is a Miltassia shelob Tolkien. So this is a hybrid orchid. I saw this at an orchid show a couple of years ago and I've always wanted one, and I just thought to hell with it. It's time. So I got this one which is in spike and in flower. So look at that. Look at that. Amazing colours. So please excuse my kitchen in the background. But yeah, look at those blooms. So great big spike full of flowers. Focus. And another spike over here, hopefully ready to go. Really nice, big, healthy looking plant. Great size pseudobulbs, great condition. And look at those, they're amazing. They're huge as well. I've got really big hands and they're basically hand-sized. How beautiful that is. Fantastic. So yeah, Speciotic Plants on eBay, recommend them, and I'm very excited about my new purchase. Fantastic. The other thing I got, not to take anything away from the order, is this, which is it's a Maxillaria. I'm not even going to, schunkeana, I think. It's kind of small black flowers, but I'm growing a Maxillaria ternifolia very successfully upstairs, which is one of my earlier videos. Which now has even more blooms on it than it did in that video, and is making my office smell fantastic of coconut and vanilla. But again, I mean, it's a smaller plant, but it's very healthy, great condition, and I'm looking forward to hopefully having some success with it. It's got some new growths on it. Zoom in there. Yeah, they're my two new purchases. And after my new orchids, there's one of my slightly older orchids from the Highland terrarium. This is a Masdevallia bicolor. So called, I assume, because it's two colours, a very deep purple and the yellow. I got this out to have a look at it. I was going to photograph it for the British Orchid Council COVID-19 Congress, because the actual orchid meeting that was supposed to be in June, I think, in Southport has been cancelled. So the British Orchid Council have got together and done like an online version, and I'm sort of hoping people will support it. I'm a big believer in sort of societies, and my experience with orchid societies sadly hasn't been that great. Some good speakers, but I find the societies are sometimes a bit insular and a bit inward looking. So it's really nice to see the British Orchid Council embracing the internet and doing some work. So I was going to photograph this and enter it. There's already some fairly stiff competition in the Masdevallia category, sadly. Or, well, I suppose sadly for me, but good for their growers. But this is, I quite like this. It flowered last year. Certainly comparable, if maybe slightly better last year. I don't quite know why. But it's an interesting looking plant, very deep purple, the striking yellow. I think this isn't quite ready. It needs a few more days for some of these buds to fully open, and what I'll do is I'll stake them and hopefully take a good picture and enter it into the competition, and hopefully get a well-deserved fourth or something, because I think having seen the pictures there already, I'm going to be hard pressed to get a podium finish. One thing this orchid does do for a Masdevallia is you quite often get the double, which I don't see very commonly on my other plants. Can it focus? I'm just trying to think. Yeah, it's got almost like a rough texture on the bloom. Really nice plant. I'm quite happy with how it looks. It's got a little bit of stress damage which some of the Masdevallias get when they get a bit unhappy, but nice and green and lush otherwise. There you go, Masdevallia bicolor from my Highland terrarium. Nice, really nice. So the other plant I got out just to give it its 2 minutes of YouTube glory is one of my favourites. It's a Masdevallia mendozae, I think, A-E. This has actually gone over. I had better flowers on this a few weeks ago when I sort of started uploading videos, and I never featured it. So it's got these sort of orange flowers that I always think look like a face-hugging alien. You see that? It did have quite a lot of blooms on it, and now it's only got the two. As I say, I've lost most of the blooms on it. Yeah, almost like slugs, with little orange slugs, not very pleasant. I found a big slug in my indoor terrarium yesterday, which made me very, very unhappy. The indoor terrarium will feature in a later video. I've got some orchids in there, I've got some schunkeana in there, some tropical begonia in there, and it just sort of sits on the floor of my office with artificial lighting on it. And so far my neighbours haven't called the police. With the light shining through the window, I think I'm growing weed in there. Fortunately I use a white light, not one of those horrible pink things. Yeah, an interesting little Masdevallia. I say this is not it at its best, sadly. A few weeks ago was much more impressive. But yeah, I quite like it just because it's so unusual. And final look at the bicolor. And right, now I'm going to pop upstairs to my home office and show off a couple of my other plants. So a little bit something different. This is my Hoya carnosa. Grows in my home office, which obviously in this time of lockdown I'm spending an awful lot of time stuck in. It smells absolutely amazing. Walk into my room this morning and all I can smell is this gorgeous musky scent combined with the vanilla from my Maxillaria, and my entire room smells like a perfume counter at an airport. Absolutely brilliant. There's more to come. You can see another little bud there. That's almost ready to come out, and I can't obviously move this because it's entwined in my grow space all the way down as a vining plant. Little few shots of my African violets there as well. That's quite sweet. It's the first time blooming for this one. Is it DS Raisins, one of the Russian cultivars? I've got another one of this on the go as well. Yeah, I really like that. Really nice. That's my Snow Edelweiss just going over. Helen Magnus never stops blooming almost for me. Probably needs a repot. That's quite sweet. That's my Lone Star Twilight. I've got another one, Summer Twilight, which is very similar, but that's the Lone Star. This is another Russian cultivar. It's Goddess of Beauty. Again, obviously you've got the different style of petals. That's just going over as well. Oh yeah, and while I'm here, this is Max Glacial Grape. This one was interesting. I got it quite early on in my African violet collection, and it promptly almost died. But I rescued a couple of the leaves, and fortunately this one's made it. I've also got a couple of smaller ones that haven't bloomed yet. But yeah, again, quite a sweet little African violet. And that's a little bit some of the things in my upstairs grow space.